Men are being arrested for their gender. Men are now being arrested for their gender. You may have already heard that the UK will now treat misogyny as terrorism, and men will be arrested and have their human rights suspended for misogyny. Watch the end of the video to understand why men are being arrested for their gender, the implications this is going to have on society, and how it will also directly affect women. And by the way, considering what's happening, maybe it's time to protect yourself and your privacy with NordVPN. Click the link in the description to get started and support the channel. If we jump into the video, into the article over here, you guys can see this. Violence against women considered for first time under government counter-extremism plan. And extreme misogyny will be considered for the first time under government plans to combat the radicalization of young men. Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary, has ordered a review of Britain's counter-extremism strategy to urgently address gaps in the government's stance. It will look at tackling violence against women and girls in the same way as other extremist groups, and it will treat misogyny as a form of terrorism. So this could mean teachers can legally require pupils they suspect of extreme misogyny to prevent. Teachers could legally require or report pupils they suspect of extreme misogyny to prevent the government's counter-terror program, which is the name of the government's counter-terror program. So teachers can report boys who they suspect of extreme misogyny to the counter-terrorism unit in England. Counter-terrorism, guys. So they're not even calling the police. They are actually reporting boys to the counter-terrorism unit. If they suspect any boys of misogyny, extreme misogyny, teachers can now report them to the counter-terrorism unit in the United Kingdom. And it won't even be the police who come and get them. It'll be basically their homeland security. So a 13-year-old boy or a 12-year-old boy can be carted off, taken by the state. His human rights are suspended, no contact with his parents, and they can do whatever they want to him. And he will be treated as a terrorist in the United Kingdom because his teacher suspected that he has extremely misogynistic views. So it's not just for saying misogynistic things, but if they even suspect that teenage boys or men are misogynistic, are extremely misogynistic, they can be reported to the government's counter-terror program. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. Miss Cooper said, for far too long, governments have failed to address the rise in extremism, both online and on our streets. And we've seen the number of young people radicalized online grow. Hateful incitement of all kinds of fractures and frays the very fabric of our communities and our democracy. Total load of crap. Absolutely total load of crap. There are several extremism categories ranked by the Home Office as an area of concern, which include a couple that I cannot mention, but extreme right wing, animal rights, environmental and Northern Ireland related extremism. So this is crazy stuff. There's also a category for INCEL, an abbreviation for people who are involved who identify as involuntary celibate, which refers to a male subculture that includes poor feelings towards women as a result of feeling rejected. Officials now fear that this category does not capture other forms of extreme misogyny. So they already have a category for the INCELs, but they're concerned that that's not enough. They need something more than that. They need to go after, and they specifically said, volcels, which are men who are voluntarily celibate. So single men who basically say they are choosing to not have relationships, not married, not date. Basically, guys, MGTOWs. Basically, MGTOWs. So they want to go after men who are MGTOWs, men going their own way. They want to go after these men who are choosing to separate themselves socially from relationships and society. They want to go after these guys. Teachers, healthcare professionals, and local authority staff are under a legal duty to make a referral to the prevent scheme if they believe someone is susceptible to becoming radicalized. So it's not, guys. So check this out. It's not even just if a person has done anything, but if they even believe that they are susceptible to being radicalized, they need to report them. So you don't have to you don't have to have done anything wrong. You don't have to have said anything misogynistic. If they just simply think that you might become radicalized, or based on the things you've said and done or your behavior, maybe you're not speaking to the girls. Guys, for example, let's say you're a boy and you're avoiding the girls, you're not talking to them, you're staying to yourself, you're quiet, they can report you. They say, oh, he's planning something, as if school was not hard enough for boys already. This is what they're doing. This is only going to push more men out of society and more boys out of school. How cruel and absolutely evil and wicked is this? My God. The move comes after the Metropolitan Police Commissioner said that issues towards women and girls should be treated as a national security threat. Speaking in the wake of damning reports, showing related to events that took place in Scotland Yard, he warned hundreds of thousands of these terrible individuals were at large, and they were looking for more resources from the government to tackle this. Last month, the National Police Chiefs Council published a major report into events that are affecting women and girls, calling for an overhaul in the way it's dealt with, and owning to the massive scale of problems occurring here. Elsewhere, police chiefs have accused online influencers like Andrew Tate of radicalizing boys into extreme misogyny in a way that is quite terrifying. Maggie Blight, the NPCC lead for issues that affect women, said young men and boys are at risk of being radicalized in the same way that terrorists draw in followers. Tate is a controversial British-American influencer and self-proclaimed misogynist who rose to fame after appearing on Big Brother in 2016. He is currently awaiting trial in Romania over certain allegations and forming a criminal gang. He denies the charges. Review will dictate new counter-extremism strategy. Ms. Cooper's rapid review, which will be completed later this autumn, will form the basis of a new counter-terrorism extremism strategy, which the Home Office Secretary intends to launch early next year. Officials will examine emerging ideologies which are gaining momentum and will assess any gaps in the current system which leave the country exposed to threats that promote violence or undermine democracy. Guys, Jesus Christ. So again, you don't have to, if they are under, so teachers and doctors, everyone, all of these people are now they're now being told by the government, it doesn't matter if this person has said anything misogynistic, done anything, just basically, if you suspect that they may become radicalized, you have to report them to the counterterrorism unit in England. Counterterrorism. So they're treating it the exact same as people who commit the worst offenses in the country. So they will be treated the same. They will be prosecuted the same. They will have their human rights taken away. They can be locked up, and for boys can be locked up for the rest of their lives if they are even suspected. Not if they've actually done anything. If they are even suspected of possible misogyny or becoming extremely misogynistic. So if they even suspect that you might become extremely misogynistic. If you have someone who's just very quiet, staying to themselves, it doesn't matter. If the teacher has a bad, and women, of course, basically they operate on feelings. So if they don't like him, if the girls don't like him, anything, boom, he's gone. And of course, again, this is again men against men and boys. So you can have a coworker. This could be in the workplace. Any man can be reported to this unit for anything. The whole idea is to have men living in a state of fear. To have men living in a state of fear and afraid to talk to one another. This is what it is, guys. They want men to be afraid to talk to one another. They don't want men communicating. They don't want male spaces. They want to criminalize the manosphere. They don't want you communicating with one another. They want to isolate you and let you know if you talk to one another, if you discuss anything with one another, if you come together and you begin discussing men's issues or anything, or you're not dating, if you're pulling away from, or you have negative views on relationships and say that you don't like the way women are treating you in society and that men are not being treated fairly, that is a form of extreme misogyny. You need to be, and they will just come, you will disappear. You will disappear. And this is not if it's happening. It's happening. No one is pushing to stop it, and women are rapidly pushing for this to go into place as quickly as possible. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. There's no one or nothing that is hated more than the heterosexual male in Western society right now. We are hated more than cockroaches. This will only lead to more men withdrawing from society, more men. Basically, this is M2 part 2. This is M2 part 2. Okay? 100% M2 part 2. And you know what they said? Guys, do you remember what Andrew said? First they go after your reputation. Then they put you in jail. And then finally, they control alt delete you. So now, after they destroyed our reputations, they took our jobs, you're right, many of us, and some men ended up in jail. Now they're coming for you directly. If you talk, if you communicate, if you simply exist, they're just gonna find it doesn't matter who. They just click, and you're gonna be arrested. You have no human rights, and they can get rid of you just like a dangerous animal. Your human rights are suspended. They don't have to allow you to speak to an officer. If you have any medical issues, too bad. You're treated like an animal. And basically you didn't have to do anything. And they will just start questioning you rapidly until they basically force you to confess. Like that's what they do, what they used to do, what they've done in places like Russia, where they would sit you down and basically have you tell on yourself, did you have any thoughts about this? Did you this and this and this? And they basically will do this and interrogate you and pretend to be your friend. This is what they're going to be doing to boys and men, little boys, and basically coerce information out of you and then record all of that and say that you're a danger to society. And maybe you'll need to go to a re-education. If you're lucky, the only thing, you'll just have to go to a re-education camp. Although that may not be enough, and they'll suspend your access to the internet and to playing video games. And I mean, guys, that's if you're lucky. That's if you're lucky. But the goal is to restrict you, to silence you, and if they need to control alt delete you. Guys, subscribe to our newsletter for my personal thoughts, insights, and a free copy of my ebook, The Blueprint for Escaping the Rat Race. Click the link in the description to get your free copy. Also, subscribe to the Angry Guy Clips channel, where we post shorter videos and video responses, and also the Angry Guy Live channel, where we live stream. Both channels are linked in the description. And finally, guys, you see what's happening. They're coming for you. They are coming for you. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. It's so important. Don't mess around. Click the link in the description to get started and also support the channel. Guys, men are being arrested for their gender. They are being arrested just for existing. What do you guys think regarding this? Let's talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away. And cheers.